Don't worry, folks. Mitt Romney has a bold new jobs proposal, and he's going to come to the rescue. I mean, we've got 9% unemployment here, and if he's going to be the next president, I want to know his jobs plan. Well, it's a good thing he proposed it and unveiled it yesterday in Nevada, which has the highest problem with unemployment in the country. You want to know what the bold new proposal is? Sit down, sit down. Be cool, because this is shocking. It turns out it's more tax cuts. Oh my God, be still my beating heart. I didn't know that was really more tax cuts from a Republican. I didn't see that coming. And you're going to be shocked to find out who it benefits. It turns out it mainly benefits the rich. Again, I didn't see that coming. But don't worry, that'll trickle down onto your head at some point, many decades later, maybe. So here's the proposal. First of all, $6.6 trillion in tax cuts, because the rich didn't have enough. That's over just 10 years. And these guys say they're going to balance the budget. What a jokester this guy is. How in the world could you balance the budget? By the way, they ask him, they're like, if you do all those tax cuts, your budget isn't close to balanced, and you say you're in favor of a balanced budget amendment. He's like, yeah, whatever. I love answers like, yeah, whatever. Okay, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm not balancing the budget. If the Republicans are in charge, of course we're not going to balance the budget. We're going to destroy the budget by giving away more to the rich. By the way, if you add interest, which is what we have to pay, on top of that money for all those tax cuts, because we don't have that money, we have to borrow it to give it to the rich, right? It's $7.8 trillion over 10 years. That's insanity. So let's break it down. Where are these coming from? First of all, he's going to extend all the Bush tax cuts. Of course. And did you know that 50% of all the benefits of the Bush tax cuts went to just the top 5% of Americans? Okay? So the richest 5% of Americans got half of all of the benefits. So will they do the same under Romney? Of course. In fact, that alone will cost us $4 trillion. And he says he's going to eliminate capital gains taxes for middle-income households. This is a fascinating proposal. He says, no, I'm for the middle class and the poor. I'm going to eliminate capital gains for people making under $200,000 and dividends. Well, here's the problem. Almost nobody in that category has capital gains or dividend income. First of all, the poor aren't investing in the stock market, so we're only talking about the middle class. Okay, fine. But it turns out, did you know that capital gains applies 67%, two-thirds of it, more than two-thirds, goes to people making over $1 million a year. So those capital gains cuts overall and dividend cuts are almost all for the rich. Now, he's saying in this case it's for people under $200,000, but that's why it produces almost no tax. Like, that's the smallest part of his budget by far. It's almost non-existent because there's almost nobody under 200,000 who has any decent capital gains and dividend income. There are some people who make some money, but not anything like what the millionaires are making. That's what the real goal is. And by the way, you think he's just going to apply it to people making under 200,000? The minute they say yes to that, then he'll say, well, to be fair, we should probably apply it to everybody. And that's when the millionaires get paid. All right. But that he's not done helping the rich yet. He's also going to eliminate estate taxes. So now you got to understand who the estate tax applies to. It's $5 million an individual. It is not taxed at all upon death. Per family, it's $10 million, not taxed upon death. Okay, and above that number, it's taxed at 35%. So this only applies to for families above leaving an estate above $10 million. Even if you take the individual amount, $5 million. It helps a tiny, tiny sliver of the population, and that sliver is insanely rich. And Mitt Romney gives them another gift. Remember, this was supposed to be a jobs program. What part of this has anything to do with jobs for the middle class? All right, we're not done yet. One more tax cut. That's a corporate tax cut. He brings it down from 35% to 25%, eliminating a third of all corporate taxes. And that saves the top corporations in the world $900 billion. And then they are theoretically, then out of the goodness of their heart, they might hire people in the United States, although it's much more likely that they'll hire people outside of the country, and they have absolutely no requirement to hire anyone inside the U.S. or to spend any of that money, and that's why they're sitting on nearly $2 trillion already that they are not spending. So, there you have it, Mitt Romney's jobs program.